tonight, Aman Kapur. Indian chicken curry my way, Indian chicken curry my way, Aman Kapur.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Most people don't know this, but I happen to be a weekend chef. So every Sunday, I just walk into my kitchen and I start cooking dishes that are most close to me. And the Indian chicken curry happens to be my very favorite. But let me tell you this. Indian chicken curry also happens to be one of the most famous, sought after, controversial dish from the Indian cuisine, and therefore there are 1,000 ways to make it. Especially when you go to India, each household has an independent, a separate recipe for it, and they take full ownership. Mine is the best. I say mine is the best. So I'm going to actually unfold the recipe and the way I cook it practically every Sunday to you. But before I do that, let me talk a little about the dish by itself, the chicken curry. So in this, the curry component is very important. Why? What is a curry? Curry is essentially a paste. It is an amalgamation, a solution of herbs and spices and vegetables with oil, cooked and made into a fine paste, as I mentioned. And that paste then becomes a base where the chicken merges with that paste and we get into a Indian curry. Now, there are 5 components to the curry. Okay? The first component, of course, is heat, stove. The second component is the cooking oil. The third component are your whole spices. So your whole spices, which are your bay leaves, green and black cardamom. You have cloves, you have cinnamon sticks, and you have cumin seeds. Your next component are your vegetables. So you have your chopped onions, you have your chopped tomatoes, you have ginger garlic paste, and your last but not the least component is the powder of various spices. So this is your turmeric, your red chili powder, garam masala, which is the hot spice, the coriander powder, and to make roughly around 1 kilogram of Indian chicken curry, I would require a big skillet, a big pan, and I'm going to put oil in it, and I will put it on high heat for about a minute or 2. At that point, I'm going to put the whole spices into it. Now, the whole spices need to be put to a point for about 2 odd minutes, to the point when they crackle or they pop. That is when the aroma begins to touch you. And that is when you say to yourself that the Indian chicken curry process is now beginning. And that's when you put your onions. So you put your chopped onions in the pan, in the skillet, and you stir it. So you use a spatula like this and you would stir it, simply because the onions have to turn golden brown, and they also kind of get married to the oil and the whole spices. Okay, so when this is going on, and it takes about 5 odd minutes for the onions to turn golden brown, and at that point of time you're going to put ginger garlic paste, about 2 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste, and that is going to work like steroids in terms of enhancing the flavor of the curry. So now what's happening is your paste is becoming more and more fine, more and more mushy, more and more consistent with the heat, with the oil. And that's when you're going to put the powder in it. So there are 4 powders. We talked about turmeric, we talked about garam masala, we talked about coriander powder, and so we're going to put that in with some salt to taste, and we're going to stir it. So how are we going to gauge that my my consistency is moving well. We're going to see that the paste is fine, the oil is good, but guess what it lacks at this point in time? It lacks the color, it lacks the body, and it's going to be the chopped tomatoes that will do the magic in terms of enhancing the body of the curry, the body. So I'm going to put the tomatoes in it, and I'm going to stir it, and I'm going to keep stirring it, and there will come a moment when my paste is going to become extremely fine, and it's going to be a point where the oil is going to separate from the paste. That's when my curry is ready, and the chicken then needs to be put right into the skillet. Mind you, my heat is going to be medium, and I am now cooking the chicken, and it is now getting properly amalgamated with the spices, and it's growing. And at this stage, I'm going to ask myself a question. Do I put water in it or not? Now, if I'm going to have chicken curry with rice, I need to put more water, just because of the fact that I want a thinner gravy. If I want it to be, if I want to eat it with just bread or naan or roti, then I don't need to put really water, because guess what? Chicken will release its own water as well. So in about 20 to 25 minutes, my chicken is ready. How is it ready? It's tender, okay? It's beautifully wrapped around the spice, and the oil has left the spice to make a good curry. All I need to do is chop some cilantro, put it in, and serve it either with bread or with roti. And what I can also do is go to my cellar and pick up a bottle of Pinot Grigio and pop it and have it with my chicken curry and bread. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. So Aman, we got 3 people who are going to serve this around.